Hello, 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 and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Lion, and you guys are here. Um, I am going to be distracted a bit today because I also wanted to tune into the MRTK3 public preview meetup that's happening right now, and I want to contribute to portions of that because I really want to work in that technology. But anyway, I'll do my best to just stay focused on the stream. I doubt that there's anything that I can contribute at the moment anyway. Hi, Broken Sword. Hello, Shy. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Turn my headphones down. Okay. I still want to get one thing done that I was working on for my work product. Really quick. And I just finished testing it, so it's doing exactly what I want. I essentially made an accordion of cards where I made a collapsible card where you can take the card itself that has a header, a body, optional footer. When you click on the header, it will either expand or contract depending on whether it was already expanded or contracted. And I have a page that has like 13 or 14 of these on it. And I wanted only one to be expanded at a time, so I'm using a whole bunch of event callback stuff, and it's working exactly the way that I want. Cool. So that's done. So, exciting times at Ridgemont High. What? Um, we've been playing around with MAUI lately. It has been so much fun. I really enjoy playing with new technology and trying to figure things out. I get frustrated by it, but it's the kind of frustration that I kind of like. Because I know that there are going to be answers. I know that things are going to progress. And I know that we will eventually get to a point where it is understandable and super usable. I need to close this thing. Move this over here. And I think that is everything. It is. Yay. Okay, so you guys can open your eyes and look at this main screen. Let me just make sure that this is the right screen. Okay. Go. Awesome. So when last we spoke, we got to a point where the application now responds to theme changes and skin changes. And so I checked that into the GitHub repo. So if you're interested in seeing how we accomplish that, there are some videos posted to YouTube, as well as the VODs here in Twitch that show the progress from the very beginning, creating a brand new MAUI app, adding the Blazor server application to it, and having them both use the same Blazor Razor class library for the UI. And then, of course, all of the failed attempts at trying to get the title bar to respond to these changes. So if we run the application targeting Windows, because this is a MAUI project, we can build targeting different platforms. So here I'm trying to run it targeting Windows. Come on. Come on. There it goes. You'll see that we have a title bar that is not responding to these color changes. I was able to originally get it to respond to color changes and theme changes, but that only ever worked on Windows 11 because the API that's used to target and customize the title bar is only available when using Windows 11 or when running it on Windows 11. So since then, I've posted a few questions to the Microsoft Q&A, forums, MAUI. Okay, and the first one was this one here. And that was just explaining everything that I just said, where I was able to customize the background color at runtime, but it only worked on Windows 11. This is where I got the information that it only works on Windows 11 and before. This statement right here. TitleBar customization APIs are currently supported on Windows 11 only. We recommend that you check is customization supported in your code before using the APIs. And so since it's not supported on anything other than Windows 11, and my work product will be targeting things other than just Windows 11, so Windows 10 and before, I still need a way to manipulate that title bar. So part of the answer was also take a look at this simple, quick. Oh, I still had it open anyway. Take a look at this simple application that I put together that is a sample of creating a custom title bar that responds to color changes, that you can add content to, that you can customize the minimize, maximize, and close buttons that are provided by the operating system. And I'm like, okay, that sounds awesome. I'll try it out. Unfortunately, I didn't, and I still am going to claim that I don't know enough about WPF or XAML apps or WinUI in general to know what I was doing for how to integrate their solution into a MAUI application, into a Blazor Hybrid application at that. I don't even have app.shell or appshell.xaml to play around with to do things that like James Montemagno showed in some of his videos for customizing it. Hello, Thindle. So because I couldn't figure it out, I posted another question. I marked that person's response as the answer, as the accepted answer, because it made sense that that's how it should work, since MAUI is just using WinUI when targeting Windows. So I followed up, and then the response that I got was, take a look back at your question, your previous question. No, not that one. Take a look back at your previous question and use the sample that this person gave you. However, the extra bit of information that they gave me was you can open MAUI Platforms Windows app.xaml.cs, use the onLaunched method from the sample projects on launch right here, and then add a main window.cs just like the main window here. So here's the content in that main window, and here is the code behind. So we are going to do this today and see if we can actually understand. So I was able to do this in a completely new project built from scratch, no customizations, no separate Razor class library, no complications. And so it worked. Yes. Whoa. Ow, hold on. That was really loud. The problem with having the compulsion to push update buttons is like if you update Discord and you have your headphones connected, it switches, well, at least these headphones, it switches these to really, really loud, what's the word? Communication device mode, where you can't actually control the volume using the OS. Anyway, continuing on. So we're going to try to understand what exactly this does, because I was able to get it working in a separate MAUI project, which is what I was saying earlier. MAUI with Blazor Actually, I did both Blazor and Blazor wasn't. Sorry, both Blazor Hybrid and regular MAUI projects. You can see those. The MAUI project that contains the title bar customization. Nerd Herder, or Deflux, are you here? Broken Sword would like to know. So that would be this thing here. So again, just a regular file new project .NET MAUI Blazor app, file new project .NET MAUI app. And both of them, the only thing that I did was in platforms, Windows, app.xaml.cs, just copy and pasted that person's code. Actually, I put the private field at the top because that's where I usually put my private fields, but that's okay. Copy and pasted the override for onLaunched. Copy and pasted the window reference, which I don't know why it's keeping a reference to _window unless it's like you're going to use this in other places. I created the main window.xaml. I created these because I wasn't able to select the file template that was specifically called a window XAML in parentheses. I picked content page XAML in parentheses. Then I changed this from content page to window. Same thing in main window code behind. And I'm just going through this again for myself so that when we actually do this, I'm going to remember all of these things. And then after changing this from content page to window as well, I also updated the namespaces. I forgot about that. Good thing that I'm doing this now because I would have forgotten. To match the current namespace that it was already using, which is the WinUI namespace. And I aliased all of the controls and objects that were used in here that are specific to Microsoft.ui.xaml. Otherwise, it's going to try to use Microsoft.MAUI version of these. So let's do this. Let's do it. Oh, yeah. I guess one thing that I forgot to say is if you do check out this repo, I did put the information of everything that I just said out loud in here, in case you want to try to figure it out yourself or come up with some better ways to do it, because that's what I care about. I would love to see the right way to do this in a Blazor Hybrid MAUI application. Okay, so we're going to do it. We're going to get it done. So this is the current app. I'm going to go ahead and stop it from running. Going to create our branch for custom title bar. Again, I think they're called captions. So I keep seeing the term caption controls for the minimize, maximize, close, and then caption bar maybe. But the actual API calls it title bar, so I'm going to keep calling it title bar. So anyway, we now have our branch that we're going to be working in. All right, so exactly as Thindle said, when we create the main window .xaml and main window.xaml.cs and do the onLaunched in here, the override onLaunched, what it's actually doing is replacing the applications window. So instead of running this, and instead of running this, it's actually just going to replace this entire logic with the main window that we're creating, and that is going to be our shell. So I want to be careful not to override too many things that I want to keep. One thing that I'm still not sure of is when it runs this, can I dependency inject? Oops. My dependencies. What else are you going to call them? Or does this break the app? So this is just going to be the easiest test to see if this works. I don't need to assign it to anything. I just want to make sure that it works. Yeah, that's what I thought. It looks like there really isn't a way for me to get the theme manager. Now, though, this is the public partial class app in a different namespace, though. Because I was going to say this could be the other part of that class, but I don't think it is. I think they're two different classes. Excuse me, do you run? Do I need to do a restore on you? It runs. It's fine. This is not a real error. That's one of the things that's really bothering me about the MAUI tooling. I know this is only in preview, but good grief. It would be nice to have some tools that actually work. Okay, at least it builds. So how am I going to get this? That doesn't matter. We're just going to start with the very basics. What am I doing? I'm trying to get ahead of myself. We're going to start with just trying to get the custom title bar to show. I'm going to use this as my width and height instead of the width and height that the other project put as the sample. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create the main window.xaml. Yeah, I'm hoping that they're still doing stuff to it, because the app.xaml for the platform specific part, it's always going to have all of these. No, not it's always going to have. It has had these squigglies everywhere with very little IntelliSense help to let you know what the controls are. And oh man. Oh man. Okay, so I'm going to actually, step one is going to be, I'm going to clean out a whole bunch of stuff that is specific to my attempted implementations of the custom title bar. So even this here. Oops. Okay, so that should get rid of my confusingness. And then is there anything in app.xaml? Oh yeah, all of it in app.xaml. I'm just really wondering if I'm going to get this theme manager that I can subscribe to. That would be really, really cool if I do. Oh yeah, the way that I was doing that, duh, was like this. So in the platform specific, I could still have my dependency injected stuff. And here in this window handler mapper map to append to mapping, sorry, I could grab an instance, or not the instance, but the actual dependency injected versions of these by doing theme manager equals handler dot context. No, dot. There's some way to get the MAUI context dot services dot get service theme manager. Done. And we want one for the preferences state. Oh, and then of course we need to cast them because this gives back object. No, it doesn't. It gives back theme manager. Huh? A read-only field cannot be. Right, because at this point in time, it's not a read-only field that's getting initialized in the constructor. It is a private field that is getting initialized in an event that happens in the or that gets configured in the constructor. What? What did he just say to me? Anyway, I didn't actually say hi back, Silius. Sorry, but hi back. But yeah, it doesn't look like they're able to come to the keyboard right now, Broken Sword. Deflux is posting some questions in Discord, though, so you might be able to catch them there. Mark as read, please. Okay, so I get theme manager and preference state for later. I don't need to think about that now. The thing that I really care about doing is this first step that I keep trying to say that I'm going to do, which is create that main window.xaml, which is going to be my main window of the application when it first launches, that has the custom title bar, that has the content. So, as I mentioned when I tried to create this before, the only things that I have that are XAML are content page and content view. Sorry, content page and content view and resource dictionary. But the closest one that I found that was to it was content page. So I'm going to use that template. And we're going to call it main window. Window. And first thing I'm going to do is rename space this to WinUI and U to WinUI because it's probably capital U, capital I. Yep. Because that's the namespace that everything else in this folder is in. Hello, prog testing. So prog testing found something that is pretty cool, and that is that he found a statement on the Microsoft cloud model machine learning stuff that says you can have your models after they get, well, you can have it fully on your machine. So you can train your models on your local dev machine and store your models on your local dev machine, as opposed to what a lot of the Microsoft Learn Core stuff shows you, which is how to train your models using the cloud, and then all of your models would be stored in Azure Blob Storage or some kind of data lake or something. I can't really remember where exactly it gets stored, but it's in the cloud in resources that do cost money. So anyway, thank you for finding that and for sending that to me too. Okay, so instead of being a content page, as I mentioned, this needs to be a window, which means that my code behind also needs to inherit from window. Great. So our next step is to add the content to this window. That is going to be our title bar and the rest of the page content. So that was one thing that I really didn't understand what was going on. So I want to do this one thing at a time. I want to type it out myself as well. So one thing that we don't have in window is the title property. This thing caused an error last time I tried to use it, so that's not a thing. So I get rid of that. The other thing is it does not use the MAUI namespace as the default namespace. It uses WinFX 2006 XAML presentation. Yeah. So I think that that's the case. Let me get the actual reference that prog testing provided, because that's something that I'm interested in looking in. If it's not going to cost me anything to use those resources, then I would be more inclined to test it out. Earlier, I just copied the image link. Oh my goodness. Okay, so on this page, there is a statement that says, what does the screenshot look like? Run everything locally. Oh, it's right here. Model Builder gives you everything you need on your machine. No need to connect to cloud resources or other services to build and consume your model. That's insane. I don't think you have to initially use the cloud at all. Not at all. It does say in future previews, we'll be adding the option to train your model in the cloud so that you can store your model on your machine without having to pay for storage resources, but use cloud compute to train your model, especially if you have a complex model that's going to take a long time to train. They have high-end systems, graphics card farms, whatever they're called. I can't think of what they're called. Rendering farms. Essentially, that will do all of the model building for you and training, which is insane. It's so cool. Really, really want to try that. But first, we're going to actually tackle a real project once we get this TitleBar business sorted. Zulia said, one thing that always struck me negatively about Azure is the pricing once you get out of the free onboarding tiers. Yeah, warehouse full of NVIDIA A100s is a bit out of reach of the average hobbyist. Or the bit mining farm that's in Iceland or wherever, where they use the actual environmental temperature to keep their machines cool. So their electricity bill is much lower than the standard farm. Okay, anyway, one thing at a time, which we're doing, which is good. 1,000 USD per hour for the speech to text model. Yeah, I remember you saying that. That is, that's a bit much. 2006. So WinFX 2006 XAML presentation. I need to understand fully what exactly this does. When I do XML namespace without this colon, does that essentially just mean that I'm extending this, or that this is available without any prefix on it? I'm pretty sure that that's what that means. I won't need to put a prefix on any object that comes from this namespace. And the other crazy thing is I am unfamiliar with using a URL as the namespace. That's kind of like breaking my brain a little bit. I'm used to using something more along the lines of the dot notation, so the assembly path to the namespace. Yeah. And I'm wondering if this is done for versioning purposes, because there is a 2009 XAML 2009 or 2008. I can't remember. Oh, it's right here actually. There is a 2009/XAML, but in the sample they're using 2006 XAML. So I guess what I really would like to know is, how do I know which version to choose, and can I just use the upgraded version without breaking things? So let's go ahead and try the upgraded version. If it breaks, I will just go ahead and revert back to 2006. Loca. So there is no local on this one. So the next namespace that it adds, aside from those standard namespaces except 2006 version, is expressions/blend/2008. And I think the example is using this for the ability to do stuff like the gradient. Maybe it's not even in use. I don't think this one is in use, but I'll show you which one they were using, and then I'm just going to delete it because I don't think it's in use. Maybe. Because there's a combination of things. So they have HTTP schema, Microsoft, microsoft.com, blend this. And at the end, or the next namespace they have is XML and S, MC. So they're aliasing this namespace to MC and saying HTTP schemas openxmlformats.org markup compatibility 2006. This could be the thing that has the dependency on 2006 XAML, and that might be why we can't use 2009 XAML, because the next thing they have is that namespace ignorable D. I don't know what this does, and I don't exactly know how to check either. No, I don't want the actual I want this to be a search. Oops, compatibility. Oh, but it's right here. Okay, so the ignorable specifies which XML namespace prefixes encountered in a markup file may be ignored by a XAML processor. It supports markup compatibility both for custom namespaces and XML versioning. Or XAML versioning. So it really is versioning for sure. And then you can add multiples, and this element can be ignored. So if I had something in here that used D, the D namespace, then that could be ignored. So what does that look like if we try it in our app.xaml here? Not that one. In our main page.xaml. Yeah, and I don't know why the template puts the class last, but it seems to me that the class is actually the first attribute that they put on the declaration, typically, just from all of the examples that I've seen so far. So if I did MC, oh, not here. sorry, not here. It really was app.xaml, wasn't it? Which one of you got? Oh yeah, it is. It is. This is where I meant. So app. The thing that I want to try ignoring, ignoble, is the MAUI prefix. That gets rid of the squigglies. Since I haven't actually implemented anything in here yet, I'm going to see what happens if I run the app with this. Does it actually get rid of my... Well, I don't know. I don't even have any resources in there that are in use. So it's not like I would see a change in the actual application. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, it's not going to build because I need to specify that window here is actually... Oh, wait, this might be the 2009-2006 issue. So what if I tried running it with 2006 version? Build failed. Huh? Unexpected none in parse rule element : blah, 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 blah. It's not there. So is it this thing? Let's find out. F5. No. Okay, so it wasn't that. End of file has occurred. The following elements are not closed window. What? They aren't. What the hell? When did I do that? I don't remember deleting stuff down there. All right, run. Okay. Unknown type vertical stack layout and label. So let's just get rid of this for now. Can we have a window with empty content? Partial class declarations of main window must not specify base classes. What? Oh, okay, so here it is. If we inspect the namespace that this thing is trying to come from, we'll see that it's microsoft.maui.controls.ui. So this is where I started aliasing the namespaces. So using window equals microsoft.ui.windowing.window. Nope. .controls. I don't remember. Oh, .xaml. .window. Okay, my bag. Zulia says, I heard that as unexpected none in... And for a moment I thought, yeah, I wouldn't have expected a woman of the cloth in there either. Oh, I love it. That is how I pronounced it, though. Gosh, I'm getting so many notifications that aren't really notifications. I don't know where... Oh, never mind. So, like, I got... Oh, man. Holy cow. What day? Good grief. Things are happening so fast right now, guys. July 27. 13 days. Oh, man. um... Cool. Okay. I need to respond to this. Great. Okay. Cool. That's okay with me. Awesome. Okay. And I will BCC Christy. Okay. This way you know what's going on. All right. Back to it. Zulia says, perfectly fine pronunciation. It's just my non-primary language hearing messing with me. Best adjective ever. Okay, so I still can't build because partial declarations of main window must not specify a different base class. And that was because I needed to alias window to use UI.xaml, just like this thing is using UI.xaml. So that should fix that build error. And it looks like it is. It's building. It's building. Unreachable code detected. But of course. Do, 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 do. Oh, come on. You're almost built. I don't have it running, right? So no files are in use. Just build. Just this little last bit. Look at it. Just go. I'm going to have to wait this long again because I'm going to change this back to 2009 to see if it still builds. It built. It built. All right. So can we make this 2009 and have it still build? Or do we find a none again? There is a none in your code. All right. Unknown type window in XML namespace 2009 XAML presentation. Okay, can I still use a mix of 2006 window with 2009 XAML controls? This is how I experiment, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Unknown member class on element window. So x:class doesn't exist on WinFX 2009 XAML. Nope, on WinFX 2006 XAML, when I combine it with 2000, what? That doesn't make sense. You would have, oh yeah, this is WinFX 2006 XAML. I didn't realize that it was x:class. So yeah, there you go. That's the answer. But then how does it work elsewhere that's using XML namespace? So what did this used to look like? Again, when we first created this, we had X being Schemas Microsoft WinFX 2009 XAML. And we changed it to 2006 XAML. This is what it used to look like. Yeah, so the only thing that changed was the year version, and X colon class doesn't exist. That doesn't make sense. Unknown member class. That's really weird. Oh, it doesn't exist on window is what the issue is. It exists for content page, but it doesn't exist for window. Interesting. Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. So we have to use the 2006 version for presentation and XAML, which I'm assuming is XAML controls. All right, so then the other thing that I tested out was something in here that I can't remember what it was. What it was? I can't remember what the other thing that we did in here was that I was trying to do that I undid in order to be able to build. Doesn't matter. We'll get back to it, I'm assuming. So let's start adding our markup that we're going to use for this window that is going to eventually replace main page or the main shell of the application. And that is going to be a stack panel. From, again, I'm referencing the example very, very heavily. Background is transparent, and you can see that I'm getting no help at all from IntelliSense. So if you're trying to explore this on your own, it's like I don't know. Never mind. You're supposed to read the docs. That's how you're going to figure it out. Okay, so this thing here that I'm typing now, this border is actually going to be not like a border the way that we think about it in HTML, where it's a line that has a thickness that you give it in CSS. It's actually going to be a section of the window itself. So for here, the border is going to be the space that's from the top edge, which is not a border, to the top of the content. It could also be this little thing that has the left-right arrow. That could also be a border. The part that has the scroll bar could be a border. So I think of it, at least for now until I get corrected, I think of it more like a gutter. So the space that's outside of the content area, but inside of the window still. That'll stick, right? Okay, and what they're using for the border is a linear gradient brush, which I kind of like. It does a good job of showing that you can use brushes, and a brush is different than a color in the sense that you can use it to paint things, like in this case, a linear gradient. There are many different types of brushes. I've only seen two, solid color brush and linear gradient brush, but I think that there's also a radial gradient brush. And so what we define on this, at least in 2006 XAML controls, um, or 2006 XAML presentation may be where this is coming from because I'm not prefixing it with X colon. Linear gradient brush gets a starting point, which we're putting at the top left corner, and an endpoint at the bottom right corner. And we're going to specify some gradient stops with colors. So one color will be yellow. And hopefully this is where we can test changing the theme for our application. Offset is going to be at what location or what percentage are we going to start this color at? And we're starting it at 0. Then our next color is going to be reg. And we're going to start that at 25%. Our next color is going to be blue. And we're going to start that at 50%. And our final color is going to be lime green, just because that's what they put in the example. And that's going to be at 100%. Okay, so far we shouldn't see anything in the application itself. But we should build, but it's failing. Starting point is not a valid member. Huh. There are some differences. I'm not seeing those differences. Is it that in the code behind, I don't have the other aliases? Like, I'm expecting this to be able to build. Oh, I need to close the border. That's funny. Anyway, it is closed. Why doesn't this build? Oh, because I put starting point and it's actually end start point. There we go. So it builds. Good, good. All right, let's fill in the rest of the title bar content now. So this is just specifying the background for this section of the application that we're going to use as the title bar. I really am not going to understand how this works though. I just know it. So they have a grid and the name attribute from this namespace, which I'm assuming that this namespace then has extensions on these controls, and that's why we can add an attribute such as an x colon name. All right, so name is going to be what we can refer to it in the code behind as, and here we're just going to call it app title bar, my bar. We're going to give it a height, and 32 has been wrong. So I haven't liked it at 32, but we're going to go ahead and let it be 32. But that's taller than the standard title bar that we get. So I think it might look weird if we leave it at that when we get around to customizing this thing. The background is going to be transparent still, because this isn't where our color is coming from. It's coming from this border background. And then grid, excuse me, grid row definitions. And then this is going to be row definition. With height auto, self-closing, and another row definition of height star. Interesting. So this is going to be a grid with 2 rows. I was not expecting that. Why is that the case? We'll have to explore this some more, because I don't know why we would do it as a grid with 2 rows. Because it's not like we're putting the content of the page inside of this grid. I will show you what we're putting inside of this grid. We're putting in here a grid. Oh, I guess we have to do grid column definitions. And there are going to be 3 columns where the second column is not actually specified. So this is the left padding column, the main content, the right padding column. So why wouldn't you do width star explicitly? And are these other 2 columns required even if we aren't using them? Like they are a width of 0, which means that they wouldn't appear as columns. So yeah, we'll experiment with that. Image. Oh, right. Why not? Let's go ahead and add this picture. Let's use the little, what's his face? Banabat. This guy. Okay, so image, grid row 1, and grid column 1. And I thought grid, row, and column are 0-based indexes. So it's possible that we're using 2 rows here because the first row is the little portion of the border that has the resize handle, and the second portion is the part of it that has the content. That's my initial guess. So if we gave this thing a fixed height of like 10 or 12 or something bigger, then the entire section that has the resize handle would be that many pixels tall. That's another guess that we'll have to explore. Okay, and then same thing here. This could be the resize handle that is just left of the title bar and the resize handle that's just right. And if that's the case, why aren't these 2 auto? The other thing that this could be is the actual caption controls, but I think that we're specifying those caption controls ourselves. So maybe not. Yeah, this is so crazy. All right, so we have our column definitions. We're adding an image, and that image is going to have a source of, and because I've already added this folder to my resources in program.cs, sources images, so I can access any file from that resource anywhere. I hope. So I'm just going to use the path to the file. And this thing is going to have a horizontal alignment left. Oops, equals left. Yeah, so if you were ever thinking of trying to learn XAML by using a MAUI application, this would not be the way to learn it. Especially if you're like trying to learn XAML to target Windows, because you're not going to get any IntelliSense for Windows specific code unless you're using MAUI controls specifically, which I think I'm supposed to be using. So I'm really wondering, nope, we'll get there. One thing at a time. I keep trying to remind myself. We'll give it a width of, are you a square? You're not a square. Let's scale this down to 30. So we do that by dividing u by 30. And then that's not how we do it. We do 30 over 208, and then we multiply 168 by 30. Okay. So 30 by 24 and a quarter-ish. So we'll give it a, I hope this is width by height. I would assume it's width by height. Where are you again? Yeah, it's taller than it is wide. So width is going to be 24, and height is going to be 30, except capitalized. Yeah, there was really nothing in the MRTK event that I could hear that was of interest to me. And a margin of, I'm assuming this is going to be 12 on the X, 0 on the Y. Oof. So many assumptions to be made. Okay. Text block. So this is going to be the actual title that's going to appear in the title caption. Yeah, so these aren't even the control buttons yet. I don't see where we are customizing the control buttons. So that's obviously not being done in here. But if I can figure out where that's being done, I might be able to use a different approach to this. Oh, this is going to be great. Yes. This is why I really wanted to go through this little by little. So we're going to have our actual title caption, which is going to be a text block. Put it in grid row 1, same row that the .NET icon is going to be, and grid column, same column as the icon. And so what I'm thinking is going to happen is, because we're adding multiple controls to the same row and column, they're just going to appear side by side. It doesn't seem like it's going to be the same way that display grid works in CSS, where if you give them the same row and column, they appear on top of each other. Unless these two really are going to be stacked on top of each other and they do some magic to move it. I think that's what's happening here. Oh, this is going to be bad. Okay, so this is proof that we can use static resources or dynamic resources even in here for something that's going to be defined in one of our styles. Good, good, because we are, as we're doing the skinning and as we're doing the theming, we're switching out the styles, style.xaml files that we use. Or more specifically, the theme itself. We keep colors and styles pretty consistent, although styles may be changed based on the skin. So I would apply the same approach that we took for making the theme resource dictionary to change the title bar color based off of the selected theme. Okay, what's next? Margin. Yeah, and this is where they're doing the magic to position the title. And for those of us that are a little bit more into front-end development, I guess I'm going to have to start calling myself that because that's what I'm doing as my job, at least for now. The hard-coded positioning of things is not, it's frowned upon. It's like a bad idea. Because that makes it so it's not responsive. And what happens when I change the, not the font, the language in this scenario? Oh my gosh. I don't want to think about that. It's so hard to not come up with all of these extra scenarios. So the next thing that we have is vertical alignment center, horizontal alignment. I got so lost in that train of thought just now. I don't know how much time passed while I was thinking about that. Sorry for the big pause. Font size 18, which again, all of these, like the font size, the margin, these should all be set in the style itself. I don't exactly know why these are being hard coded in here instead of in this caption text box style. Beat me. Text equals custom title bar. So for us, this is going to be theming example. I deviated from the example. I can't believe myself. I said that I was going to stick to it. Foreground color is going to be, again, from our style. It would be a static resource, title bar text color, I think is what I called it. But for now, we'll set it to navy. And font. Switch back to CSS. Font weight normal. Font, I didn't even spell it right. Font weight normal. And that's it. No actual contents inside of it. And I'm assuming that you can't self-close it when there are no contents inside of it. Let's try a build. See if it still builds. Otherwise, why wouldn't you have done this? You can. Unless it breaks at runtime, but you can. Okay. So I am not going to put any additional page content in here. So underneath the border, they have other page content stuff. I'm going to leave that blank and see what happens, because I want to play around with this. So before we can do that, I need to get this window to be the thing that opens when you start the app when running on Windows. To do that, we need to go into app.xaml. Are there any changes in here? Right. Dang it. And this is where they specified all of the resources to include the styles and stuff. So I'll go ahead and type this out little by little, just so we know what's going on. We have our MAUI application, where MAUI comes from Microsoft.MAUI. So if this is a MAUI application, why can't we use MAUI controls? But anyway, we are adding resources, and in our resources, we're going to use the resource dictionary with merged dictionaries. So when we are running the application, at runtime, we have access to gardeners. Why are you being such a pain? A few properties on the application itself. So in the code behind, if we got a reference to the current running application, we would see that we have resources. Oh, wow. If we were in app.xaml.cs, for example, and we got access to the current application, we would have access to resources, and resources would be anything that is specified directly in this resource dictionary. So if we have another resource in here, like a solid color brush, for example, that we give it a key called window caption button background. Hey, I found where we can customize the background color of the buttons in the top right, the caption controls. Color of green with an opacity of 0.4. Then resource dictionary here, or resources, would have one entry, and that entry would be this window caption button background. If we didn't have this in here, then resources would have 0 items. In resources, we also have merged dictionaries. And so merged dictionaries is, in our XAML, this nested object called merged dictionaries. And so if that is missing, if we don't have a merged dictionaries, this is actually null. So it's not like it's an empty dictionary, it's actually null. And I've run into issues with that when I was trying to do the customizing of, not the customizing, the theme changing, where I was trying to clear it out, but it was null. So it gave me no reference exceptions. I was like, no, you're supposed to be. So I think actually if we look at this thing right underneath, I lied. Look at this. I initialize merged dictionaries. I don't. Even though in app.xaml I don't have resources with merged dictionaries, I still have access to the merged dictionaries object without needing to initialize it. So I just lied. No, but at least I corrected myself. So merged dictionaries is not null if we don't have the merged dictionaries member. This thing, it's just empty. Liar! Hello, Tyron. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So I'm stepping through slowly, adding in the example for the question that I had about how to customize the title bar. If you haven't been lurking, I'm just letting you know. If you have been lurking, then you already know. But I'm doing it little by little so that I can fully understand what it's doing and maybe get a better grasp on how to accomplish this in a more MAUI-like approach, as opposed to just a WinUI approach. like maybe I will find out how exactly to target the title bar by using styles and target type. And this thing called a visual state manager that we're about to get to. And if that visual state manager only exists in window Microsoft.ui.xaml.window or not, we'll find out. So moving on. The next thing that this thing has is XAML controls resources, which I have no idea what that is, but that comes from XML NS with using Microsoft UI, and I think this answers my question right here. Controls. Visual State Manager. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking this example that I was given is outdated. It's using stuff from like old ways to do things in WinUI applications. It's actually having me use the 2006 versioned XAML namespaces. And I'm like, maybe there's a better way to do this using more recent versions. Oh, I don't need this anymore because that failed. That's what the thing was. I was trying to find out. Oh, do you still build? It's a WPF way to manage controls. You can use it to do hover effects, etc. Yeah, and that's what this thing is doing. So apparently the part in this when we get to the Visual State Manager, that's the thing that's going to have, I guess I'll run it. I'll run the current version that I have in GitHub. Oh, no worries. As long as you at least say one, actually, I think it's supposed to be like 3 things that are related, that are examples, then etc. is appropriate. I mean, etc. etc. Okay, so this is the full implementation of the thing that we're trying to get to. It's a MAUI Blazor Hybrid application and also a regular MAUI application that uses the WinUI sample that was provided as a response to one of the questions. And so that looks like this. And it sounds like the Visual State Manager is for doing these hover effects right here. So we will get to that though. For now, I am just filling in the resource dictionary. Estil. Okay, so this this brush here, you can do animated transitions with that too. That sounds fun. If I can do it in code, that'd be even better without having to play with XAML. So here is one brush. Here is another brush that is probably going to be the hover color. Yeah, this is the hover color. So pointer over. It's not called hover. It's called pointer over. What are you thinking? And it's going to have an opacity of 0.5. Yeah, generally, but not me. I define my stuff. Like, here's my main theme resource dictionary. And that is defined by these classes here. And then my theme manager turns the objects, these classes, into dictionaries, into theme resource dictionaries, which is just a resource dictionary. And that resource dictionary says, read all of the properties, and then add a key value pair of property name, property value. Because XAML. But this is also the way that I can specify color themes just by creating a new C# class. Because the whole point behind what I'm trying to accomplish is when I'm running the app targeting Windows, like so. Yeah, look at that. It's already targeted them. It already targeted them. The only thing that's left is to be able to target this top bar without using the title bar customizations. Anyway, we're getting there. This is cool. The point is, when I change the theme in the Blazor UI portion of the application, I want that to also propagate to the window itself, so that the background color of the title bar and the title bar text color matches the theme. So if I go light mode, then this should be a lighter gray title bar with black text. If I go dark mode, then it should be a black title bar with white text. Orange, green, kahi, all of those should be matchy. Matchy. Yes. That's exciting. Look at this. I didn't even do anything else for these. I just set window caption background, button background, and window caption button background pointer over. How is that even working when I haven't replaced the title bar? Doesn't matter. We're going to keep going through the sample first. Oh my gosh. That's exciting. All right, so then if we change the close button background pointer over. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking, but I don't remember replacing the title bar so that only the controls show. I got rid of the content. Did I? Did I really? Are you sure? It could be in here still. Oh, look at that. I did get preference state and theme manager. Oops, did that backwards. Yeah, so I got rid of extends content into title bar, and then these were my naive tests to try to get it to work. And I also got rid of the other markup that I was using as my custom page, custom title bar, and content. And in main program.maui, MAUI program.cs, I got rid of extends content into title bar and set title bar. How in the world is this switching out my title bar? App.xaml.cs, apply theme. Nope, on window, create window. The only thing that I do is customize the title. I don't care. This is going to work. That's all that I know. This is going to be cool. So, The next thing that this thing has, oh wait, I need to finish typing this. Magenta 0.8. Close button, background pointer over. We have another solid color brush that is going to be the window caption background. If this changes the actual title bar background color to white, I'm going to make it 1.0 even though they only have a 0.1. Yeah, this makes sense to me now. So after rereading Tyron's statement, your merged resource dictionary is overriding the built-in ones, I realized that he was talking about this merged resource dictionary, not the stuff that I'm typing down here. So this merged resource dictionary is the one that's saying for the current window, when you're targeting Windows, because this is only in app.xaml in the Windows platform, replace all of the styles, all of the controls resources with Microsoft.ui.xaml.controls, which includes the built-in title bar. So with that in mind, since I'm replacing all of the controls there and I'm not trying to do any other customizations on the title bar, like put in custom content, the only thing that I want to do is change the background color of things. This should be all that I need to do, and then have these things reference my static resources for my title bar background and everything. So this Windows caption background is only going to be for the minimize, maximize, and close button. And then I'm overriding each of the specific keys. It would be nice if I got IntelliSense that told me what keys are available in here without needing to go to documentation and be like, all right, what can I override? Awesome. Okay, so we got the white background. I kind of want to do it now. Like, I want to jump ahead because this is pretty much it. This is all that I wanted to be able to do. If we look at this, like, I'm not even using main window at all. If we look at this, I have some static resources for my colors or my styles. Bar background color is the name of my resource. So in my themes, yeah, I'll change the text color too because that's all right here. I have bar background color, bar text color, button background color. Although this button background color is for the content, not for the actual bar. So all that I should have to do is change this reference here for my caption button background to be static resource bar button background. And I'm making it a static resource as opposed to a dynamic resource because I'm not updating the values of page background and primary text. So these, again, all of these properties are just keys in the dictionary. I'm not changing the colors, the actual values for these properties. I'm swapping out the entire dictionary itself. So hover over, yeah. I'm still going to leave hover over as color yellow for now because I haven't thought about making a hover color for the minimize, maximize, and close buttons. Same thing for the magenta. And you're just going to be the same color as well. So if that's the case, when I change the theme color in the Blazor UI, it should affect the title bar. Oh, I forgot the primary caption foreground color. Oh no. Okay. So I got the error that says there was an error encounter that you can't handle using the current attached debugger to attach it to something else. So something in here, the static resources might not actually work. Binding to a static resource might not work. Because I'm using a dictionary and not setting the style. This would be a resource, whatever it's called, the resource reference. Um, yeah, so my guess of what's happening is because this is actually a dictionary entry and not a style that is using a dictionary key, this here cannot use static resource. The thing that I'm supposed to do to reference or to alias essentially another resource using dynamic resource at that point in time is by using the whatever the dictionary thing is. I've seen it before a few times. I just gotta figure out where. Dynamic resource. Oh, you just use it as dynamic resource. Crap, but it needs to be a solid color brush. I didn't make them solid color brushes. I wonder if color would still work. Yeah. Oh, so they can be in the resource dictionary itself. Cool. So here's my yeah, that sucks. So it would be a dynamic resource X key this thing here. And it's going to use resource key. Oh, this is so close. Background color. All right, what do you say? It says dynamic resource does not exist in XML namespace. So maybe X colon. Nope. MAUI colon. Is there a dynamic resource in the MAUI namespace? Promising. Unknown type dynamic resource. What namespace is dynamic resource in? Dynamic resource markup extension. Can you tell me what namespace? Show me dynamic resources tag. Now that I know that it's actually called the dynamic resources tag. That's funny. This thing doesn't even use dynamic resources in an example. Window, style. Yeah. I have oh wait, I have a message from Jeremiah. What time is it? I will respond to Jeremiah in 20-ish minutes. All right. Have fun, Tyron. Hope you have a great rest of your day. This is really, really close. Like this is the closest that we're getting, but it looks like, I mean, I don't know how to get this thing to recognize dynamic resource as a valid tag. Oh, good gravy. What I could do, however, is something more like this. Okay, what if, and this is a big what if I changed my bar background color to window caption, wait, I need that separate. Window caption button background. Avidus says, I like your t-shirt. I enjoy finding sarcastic and witty comments in code. I'm not that witty though. I wish I was. Here it is. Okay, this is the one that I wanted this to be. So bar background color is Windows caption background. Which I can't do in some file, such as in this one. Wait, yes I can. Oh. It's probably because I added this before, but we'll find where that error happened. I'll need to add this, but then bar text color is going to change out for, actually, I didn't even see if there was a Windows caption foreground color. Excuse me, are any of you guys the foreground color for the caption? Yeah, I'm not seeing the foreground color. Dang it. But we'll get to that in a second. I'll look for it later. So we have the hover color. We have the close button hover color. And then I'll need to figure out what to rename this to. So my thought is, if we replace these, if we don't actually add these to the dictionary until we add the theme, Jeremiah. Gifting subs. What a crazy kid. What a crazy kid. Bartaki isn't even in the stream currently. But hi, Jeremiah. So, since you're here, I guess I may as well answer your question. Do you currently have a commercial? I guess I should wait to see if you can hear me. So if you guys don't know this guy, Jeremiah Sibelius 8, he is someone that I used to work with at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal. Really cool guy. He moved on to bigger and better amazing things because he's elite like that. So Jeremiah, my answer is I have moved on. I'm working for a consulting agency called Sagetti, where I'm pretty much a software consultant, where the people at Sagetti sell me to other clients to work on projects for them. And I'm currently working on a project for a major OEM. And working using the latest Microsoft technology called MAUI. Sorry, I got distracted because I'm really excited about this. I'm struggling a lot with trying to get this title bar customized, but I think this is really close. All right, so I need to implement these colors. Oops. And I think I need them to be brushes. Okay, which means that in here, I need to add in those. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of this and then add in all of these. Make them get private set. But there is more to that information that I just gave you. I was in the middle of modernizing water management. They split up one of the treatment plants, or not treatment, treatment plants. NPTS? I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, they split up OJIT's treatment system into Northern Pathway and First Creek, and they wanted to measure their flow rates independently, and so that affects RMA water that was getting all of the OJIT's data from one source, and then that also affects treatment plant upload and water management for being able to manage the actual wells, not wells, plant flows. I don't know if you remember water management, and Jin was the one that did it, but then I think you did some work on it as well to make it so that it worked. Period. Oh, I do. Yeah, so that currently, uh, this is how far I got in it. Waterman. And so because they're still struggling, they haven't been able to backfill me, and I've been gone since May. And the current junior dev that's there is fresh out of college and doesn't know very much about .NET. I was doing some of this work for them still. And unfortunately, Sajetti doesn't let me, I can't, Sajetti doesn't let me really charge for the work that I'm doing for them because they wanted to put me on a 1099, 10, whatever it's called, the contract. But Sajetti is like, part of my employment agreement is that I cannot get paid for performing the same type of work for anyone else. And of course, you know me, I felt really bad that they don't have anyone, that I was only halfway through this app, that I was in the middle of helping them with their current progress. And yeah, I just felt bad. So anyway, this is what it looks like currently. Yay! Trench flows, deflowering wells. Here's the edit form. And this is all Blazor, of course. So I was like this close. I didn't even realize how far I had gotten in this application, but I'm this close to having it done. The only thing that I need to implement is the save functionality for them to be able to edit the records and then mark records as final. And then someone else can deal with trying to generate the reports and all of that stuff. But at least the stuff that I did for free for them was got the treatment plant upload to be able to read an exported file directly from their system. It's called Factory Talk. And this way it'll read the new data. RMA projects. Treatment plan uploads, sample uploads. And so it'll read the format directly in the browser, get the tag names and stuff, and then they can upload it to the server, which data already exists. Oh, crap. Data was supposed to have already existed, so they should have told me that data exists, but whatever. I'll just reset the data. Damn it. Apparently, he didn't re-upload the 6.1 data like I asked him to. He only uploaded 625 or something. But anyway, point is, it uploads, and it's successful, and it works, and it does what I want it to. And this isn't the latest version, because the latest version, I have this thing sticking to the top even if you scroll down. Whoops. I need to republish the test. So it's all working, is what the point is. They can upload data for Northern Pathways and Peoria Street, not Peoria Street, First Creek individually. And if they go into RMA water, I had already set this up before I left, so I didn't need to do any work on this. So many systems, so many different systems. And now I'm working, oh, by the way, my current job, uh, the work that I'm doing is someone else designed the UI. So the client that we're working for is modernizing their current application. And someone else designed the UI, and all I had to do was implement it in Blazor. And yeah, it's been so much fun. I don't know how this is how. So anyway, the two new plants are separated in here. They could search, they could get data for it, and everything looks the way that it's supposed to. So this is the data that I just uploaded, and you can see that it's a negative number because I uploaded it after the 625 data was uploaded, and so this number is smaller than this number, and it used this as the most recent value. Actually, it used this as the most recent value, and the difference is that. So this is where water management comes into play, where they come in and adjust these numbers manually or push the recalculate button, and then set it to final. But it's so close to done, and I feel really, really bad that they don't have anyone to finish it. So I've been working on it some evenings when I have time. But otherwise, they were going to pay me for 20 hours a week, which I was completely okay with. But Sajetti was like, nope, nope, you can't perform the same type of work for someone else. And it's like, but this is a individual project, but it sounds like it would. I know you would. What reason would they have to backfill me? Oh, they they're trying to backfill me, and I am definitely only giving them like 4 hours a week at most. But after this, they just can't find another senior developer that would take that little. Ow. But it's almost done. It doesn't matter. I'm going to finish up the last bit, which is allowing them to edit and save in water management, and push that to production, and push TPU to production, and they can get someone else to fill in the missing functionality, creating the reports, um, changing the status of the adsorbers, etc. Christy and I were joking about, um, yes, yes. All right, Christy and I were joking about having her take on the contract because she also left RMA when I left. Um, so having her take on the contract, I do the work, she hands it in, and then gets paid. Don't know. So August is the end of the current contract, unless it gets extended again, which it probably will. And the only thing that we know is they're trying to reduce the number of positions overall. So I don't think they were even planning on backfilling the senior dev. They were probably even planning on getting rid of the senior dev because everything was supposed to be in maintenance mode only. And Sam. But yeah, I have no idea what's going on with it. They still have the request for a proposal. ERSCRFP. So it sounds like they're taking bids still. Gosh, it's so crazy when I just look back at all of the stuff that we had to do while we were there. And then now I'm working at a job where I have one responsibility, and that's to create this UI that's already been designed in Figma and write HTML, CSS, some Blazor functionality for the interaction. And oh man. And then there might be some other opportunities coming up soon. Maybe. I hope. Gosh. Okay, I need to finish this because I'm getting super excited. Getting excited. Help. Help me. All right, just need to do this once and then I can fix everything else. Bam. But yeah, if you haven't heard of MAUI, Jeremiah, MAUI, no, you're definitely okay. I'm not really doing anything per se during my streams. It's not I'm not on the clock currently. So my streams are here to be distracted. Um, doesn't matter. Or I guess I don't want to be distracted, but if I do get distracted, that's okay. Crap. And that's kind of my alarm for the end of it. Um, I have to not be sorry because I distract a lot. This should work. This should work. This should work. Okay, so if I make my colors all like this, that's not 4 of them. Which one am I missing? But background. If I do all of my colors like this in each of the themes, then because I'm adding a dictionary entry, a resource dictionary entry with the right key, I should be overwriting the custom, not the custom, but the default values that are being brought in using this. But we're going to have to find that out in the next video because that's the end of my stream. Thanks for being here, Jeremiah. Really cool to see you show up. I'll talk to you more about some other things that are happening that I'd rather not discuss on camera or here. But for the rest of you, Deflux, I did see your questions in Discord. I'll try to respond to them. And yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow for Community Day, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is UTC -6 currently, unless unforeseen things happen, then, which they haven't really. Thank you, Abitus. Thank you, everyone that was here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Haha, he's on break, but he's been raiding us quite often lately. We're going to go ahead and raid Simple Game Dev so you guys can see the awesomeness that is artificial. Do. Start a raid. All right, if you want to hang out, make sure you guys hit that follow button, like and subscribe. Comments down below, because you got to do the point down thing. Anyway, if you feel like hanging out for Simple Game Dev's the raid to Simple Game Dev, please do. He is a game developer working on a game that is inspired heavily by Valve type games, so Half-Life and Portal specifically. It's kind of a adventure puzzle, running around, fixing things, finding out the mystery, and it's really, really cool looking. So I hope you guys enjoy him. I will be back again tomorrow. I already said that. So hope to see you again someday. Whenever you feel like coming back, I'll see you then. That's it for me. Ciao for now. I need to turn him up. I can't find my mouse. This happens often. All right, I'm going to stop waving now.